Good late morning to you all. Oh man, what a late morning it is. We're not going to do a very long one today. I've got too much to do before I have to go to the seminary to set up for the live recording of a show tonight. A spotlight on Cody Aish and Pete Mealy for Patreon. And sorry it's a late one here. I'm sure we're probably not going to get many viewers in because it's you're nestled all in your cubicles or wherever you work and kind of set in for the day, so maybe you don't have time to mess around. Who knows? I don't know. I make my own schedule, so I'm always messing around. But so it's late because, man, I fell asleep on the couch last night because we got home like 10:30-ish. And, of course, Major wants to play. So Cindy went up to bed. I stayed downstairs with Major while she ran around with her toys and frolicked a bit. And then, I don't know, somehow along the way, we both fell asleep on the couch. But I fell asleep in a really weird position. And my neck, oh my God, from like the base of my skull all the way up around. And then I was grinding my teeth. And so from my top teeth to the base of my skull, just screaming. So I went upstairs, I took a half a bottle of Advil and half a bottle of Tylenol and laid down with a heating pad on my neck. And I could not wake myself up before 9:30. I was just like it was like the heaviest sleep I've had in a while. It was in a daze, and still kind of in a daze. Got a dull headache now. Another half a bottle of each, and headed into town. The show must go on, folks. I've got to edit the audio from last night's show and then get ready for tonight's recording. So yeah, it's a miserable Friday morning for me here, but yeah. Thank you, Eric. It should be fun. Pete and Cody are fun guys to talk to, so I think I had lunch with them the other day to kind of like do a pre-interview, just get a feel for, what their life story is, because that's what these spotlight on things are. And I don't know, I think it's good to get to know a lot of these people outside of the history they teach. Who are they? Because there's a lot of people out there I know who are aspiring historians in one way or another. And I know for some people, I was this way, when you have like a dream or something that you want so desperately, so badly, you're almost afraid to try, or you're almost afraid to ask, how do I get there? Or there's some kind of an apprehension or a fear. Or maybe it's like, oh, I'll never be able to get there because I'm not this, that, or the other thing, or I didn't come from this, that, or the other. And so I have to do these spotlight on things to show people who might be of that mindset that, these people that we admire who are, our licensed guides, didn't pop out of the womb as whatever we know them as today. They were regular people with regular lives, and regular jobs, and totally different paths that got them all here. And so that's why I like doing these shows, because you kind of see that everybody finds their way eventually, but you got to start looking. You got to start putting your one foot in front of the other. And as the great American philosopher Kenneth Rogers once told us, probably most importantly, you got to know when to hold them, know when to fold them. And that's a tough thing if you're chasing a dream, the folding part. So, Fraser, thank you very much. It's my own fault. I don't know. I fell asleep. I don't even remember falling asleep, but all I know is I fell asleep in a very weird neck crooking position, and now I'm suffering the consequences. They were very good at the live museum. Oh yeah, the live event at the museum last January. Yeah, that was January. That's when Elizabeth was. This is Eric I'm referring to here. That's when Elizabeth was a contestant in the game show and came in dead last with 0 points. But at least she tried. That's what we always say. At least she tried. She was a sport about it. She was a sport. Ty, I got to Asia today late yesterday. Can someone explain what is going on with the Gettysburg Cookie Company? If I had a gas oven, I'd be worried about my safety, but please give me some good news. What? Wait, what? What do you mean? What was the news about the Gettysburg? I don't know what you're talking about. Kenny Rogers dying just before the vid was definitely him living that dream. Yes, it was. Yes, it was. He was like, I've had the best life while the best life was possible. I'm checking out, folks. Brandon says, Matt, my man, love these AM drives. Well, thank you, Brandon. I'm glad you said that. Yeah, apparently, I didn't realize that people, I wasn't going to do one this morning, and then I saw there were a couple of comments. One of them from, what was his name? Hungry, oh, shit, I can't remember his name. You know, the guy the other day who, Hungry, when the Hungry Hippos, you know, but it wasn't, his name wasn't Hungry Hippos. I forget. Hungry Wallace, there you go, thank you. Yeah, he sent a message. I didn't realize that I had the interview at 9 until 6:30 yesterday morning, and so I didn't have the time, because I just kind of threw everything off. I didn't have the time to do my normal drive into town, and so I had to go straight into town. Plus, I wasn't finished setting up the mixer that I got, the new mixer, and I had to go in and finish. And you know, it's still, you got to learn the settings, and it's hard to dive right in. But you know, you do. You dive in, and you figure it out. Savorhood Matt. Oh, that was the name of the cookie company. As far as I know, I don't know this to be absolutely true, but she found a place in Hanover and moved there. They weren't totally sure when they told me if that was the case. I don't know. But yeah, it kind of sucks about Saberhood, but at least they'll stay open, which, you know, if that is indeed true and they can hold out until December 9th, then that means that we have a venue for our Christmas party. Just have to, I just have a feeling the rug is going to be pulled out from under us. I just have a feeling that something, I don't know. I got to go back in there and really like chip away at who is it that I talked to make sure that we could do this, make sure there's going to be someone at the bar. Because if we show up and they're like, oh, well, we don't have anybody at the bar. And it's like, well, I could have told everybody BYOB, and then we'd have to all pool our money and go get, whatever. So, yeah, we shall see. We shall see. Yes, the horrible failure. We never let her forget. I gotta give her credit for trying. Because, look, there are people sitting in the audience who do know a lot more than obviously she did. I mean, she knew zero, so, I mean, it doesn't take much. But there's people in the audience who knew a lot more, and they didn't have the nerve to come up and try. So I gotta take my hat off to her for that. Oh, by the way, if I forget, Eric, we have That's What She Said on Sunday. So I'll try to remember to let her know. Ty says, is it closing? It's not going to be in Savorhood anymore, at least from what I caught. Yeah, the cookie place had its last day someday during the week. I forget what day I stopped in there. Wednesday, maybe? I think it was his last day. Thai Web, I've gone to that place every time I come up to Gettysburg since it opened. Perfect place for a guy like me to eat. Yeah, I like it. I like the idea of it. I couldn't believe the amount of people are fucking miserable. I mean, the amount of negative comments on the announcement post. I just am so amazed that we are surrounded by so many perfect people. I really am. It's amazing to me. Like, all these people who knew how to make that business work, but never came forward until it failed. You know, the real honorable people among us, with their comments. I I don't know, man. I know people have always been this way, but this it just you didn't have social media before, where you just see it everywhere, and you really just learn to hate your fellow man, and it's terrible. It's an awful feeling. Eric says, depending on when you do the recording, she may not be able to make it. She has some leadership fellow thing until 5. Oh, well, it will be up until, I think it's 4 to whenever. So, yeah, she will probably miss that then. Good morning, Dragoon. How are you? I have to say, those of you who were watching last night and commented on the McNairing, that was and my favorite comment, I forgot who said it, but it was like, just ignore it and move on. I actually took your advice. I was about to unload, but I was like, you know what, it's exactly what he wants, so I let it go. Marie, I see your comments. What did I miss? Oh, wait, there you are. Man, I hope the rug stays in place. I'm skipping my work party for this one. Well, I'll put it like this. If at the last minute the rug is ripped out from under us, we will figure out something to do. We will go on some kind of, I don't know, pub crawl or something. Who knows? Or we'll go caroling in the square. I don't know, but I'm gonna keep tabs on it, because, by the way, if you're coming tonight, this is the building you're looking for. Okay, that's the refectory. It's right before the stop sign. So just putt and walk to the refectory. I forgot what I was saying now. Brandon says, I wish someone would write like a 10 to 15 episode season of Gettysburg, set before, during, and after. Yeah. So that's something Bo and I always talk about, and I used to, like, about before I met Bo, actually. There was this seasonal ranger named Jared Foose, I think his name was, and I can't remember his last name. Really cool kid. I hope he gets back here someday. But we were always talking about that too, like a Band of Brothers type series about the war. I mean, it'll never happen, but. No, Kevin, we didn't go to Saberhood last night because they closed at 9, and it was like 8:30 by the time we left the studio. So we went out to Taverna, which, I've mentioned Taverna before, but I recommend it if you're here, especially during a high tourism time where there's a lot of tourists, and you just don't want to wait in line for an hour and a half for a table. Head out to Fairfield. It's only like a 15-minute drive. It's a nice drive, pretty drive. There's some history out there. There's some historical markers out there. You've got a few restaurants that I would recommend. You got the Mansion House. You have Taverna, there's Ventura's, and then there's Eagle and the Owl, which is at Ski Liberty. And we just discovered that um, I don't know, a couple of weeks ago, and really liked it. And so I would recommend that. Okay, so why is this is a lane, but the parking space is painted in there. What the hell is that about? Can we go a wassailing at the Christmas party? What is wassailing? Is it just caroling? That's what I always thought. I always kind of just assumed it was like drunken caroling. Like you have some booze first, and then you go out and carol. Hey, Estella. Estella says, I just got done listening to your episode of the Three Guys podcast. I really enjoyed it. Oh, thank you. I never really promote it when I do interviews on other people's shows, and that's not right of me. I should do that. Every time I'm the one being interviewed, I'm always afraid that I, said something that was a bridge too far or something. Because I feel a little more free there, but and sometimes, whenever I have fun, that's what always got me in trouble in my life. It's just enjoying myself, which has kind of caused me to not seek joy, because every time I truly feel joy, I get in trouble for something, and it just rubs somebody the wrong way. But you can't go through life with no joy. So yeah, but I'm glad you liked it. I don't really remember what we talked about, but they were fun. I had fun talking to them. Brandon says, I ate at O'Rourke's when I was in town. Solid place. Yeah, I haven't really gone to O'Rourke's. O'Rourke's is always kind of packed, which is good for them, but not good for me. I don't like standing. I can't wait for tables anymore. I'm just done with it. Giant construction by the Jenny Wade House. That is the Gettysburg Tour Center, which is the bus company that does the double-decker bus and everything. They are building a new headquarters. I don't know if you recall, but the building that they had before, if you went in there, it was like spongy floors, and they were all at an angle. And I think that was built to be not so permanent. I believe it was built for the 100th, for the centennial, or something like that. I can't remember the story exactly, but there was something along those lines, and so it was about time that they built a new one. So they're building a 2-story one. I kind of wish they had built the 2nd story underground, which is probably more expensive, but he kind of kills the view from the top of East Cemetery Hill over the the Howard statue. You used to be able to get a nice view out to Oak Ridge during sunset. We used to do sunset videos out there. So now that's kind of blocked. But whatever, it's their property. They could do what they want. Good mid-morning to you. Dolls are evil. It's High Web 80. If it depends on quality. Stella, we all see differently, and everyone has a different perspective on they see that thing. What? Perspective on the way they see things. I really liked yours. Thank you very much, Estella. Yeah, I guess I don't like to. So I should probably share the links. I didn't listen to it because I don't like to listen to myself, and so I couldn't tell you if I did say anything that I would rather not have had out there. But you know what it is? It's just the way everybody is so touchy and sensitive now is you could say something that yesterday was completely innocuous, And then today, somebody finds a way to be offended by it. And like a compliment can be turned into something bad. And it just kind of makes you want to drop out, you know? And I wonder, like, people who do that, like, what 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 do you get? What's like, why do you like shitting on other people's lives? Why do you like ruining their day by doing that? Like, most people don't mean harm, and yet everybody finds harm everywhere they look, and it's actually really pathetic because it makes you look like a real loser, like a big baby and a loser. And I don't know. I don't know. But yeah, so anyway, I'm glad you like this though. Sorry, I don't know what I'm getting. It's my migraine. I'm getting all negative. You go a sailing for Christmas in the big cities. That's true. How you doing, Ghost? At least the tourist center won't be a 7-story building, but I'll miss the East Cemetery Hill view too. Yeah, I hope that 7-story building doesn't. What is the point of ordinance in order to protect a view shed? To make it, not turn into this booming metropolis with tall buildings. Like, we put a limit, 4 stories. And then somebody comes along offering money, and then the borough's like, oh, well, maybe we could change that, for you. Well, no, but now you've set a precedent. And then the next guy can come in and say, well, here's money, I want to do 10 stories. And now we've got big skyscrapers in Gettysburg. Not that 10 stories is a skyscraper, but you know what I mean, by Gettysburg standards. Yeah, it's a shame, it's a shame. Craig says, gearing up to drive north and head with the Gettysburg at Seminary Ridge, 24-hour event. Oh, very nice. I totally recommend maximum effort to support this museum. I do too. It's a great museum. A great museum. A great day. Brandon says, if you ever decide to have your chat live in studio for a show, I'm in. What do you mean by that, Brandon? Hey, Babber, how you doing? Here's a little horse and carriage. Maji, how are you? She says they have to change the zoning laws. They did it in my neighborhood. It's ridiculous. Now the skyscrapers have next one. Family homes. Yeah, I know. It's sad. The people we elect to protect where we live sell us out all the time. Ty Webb, Matt, if you need to get rid of your migraine, be sure to watch the video of Flavor Flav. Oh, I saw it. That's what gave me the migraine. As I was falling asleep, I was watching that. I mean, look, Roseanne Barr did it, and she wasn't much better than he was. In fact, she was probably a little worse. So, apparently that's okay now. We could just do that. Andy says, I usually lay down in a dark room and stare at the abyss when I get a migraine. So what I normally do is I'll take a handful of Advil and a handful of Tylenol. I will then go into the shower and get the water as hot as possible and beat it down on my head. Now, if a bathtub is available, that is a better way to go. So I have a bathtub. So I would normally fill that with water as hot as I can go, and or as hot as I can stand it, and then lay down in the tub, which is also a good way for me to crack my back. It's the only way I can crack my back. It's like laying down in the tub and then kind of like getting up on my elbows and squeezing my shoulder blades together, and then I get it. I guess the army's in town or something today. Anyway, so you lay down in the bathtub in the hot water, and you lay your head. I don't know if I call them migraines because they're debilitating. They might be tension headaches, because sometimes if I can do that and just relax all my muscles, it helps a lot. And then I go and I lay down, yes, in a dark room if possible, and I just wait for the pills to start working. And typically I'll take a nap and then wake up and be functional. Not necessarily better, but functional. Like now, I'm functional, but I'm not really better. But I gotta get better for tonight. By the way, I got to confirm with him, but I think Mark from Community Media is coming out, not under the auspices of Community Media. I hired him privately, but I think he's coming out to live stream it. And so if that's the case, since it's a Patreon episode, we're going to live stream it to the first lieutenants tonight. So it'll be our first, no, it won't be. It'll be our second live streamed in-person show with an audience and all that jazz. Brandon says, your notable commenters in this chat, live in studio, would be fun. Oh, that would be fun, actually. You know, it might be fun to do something like that, where we have commenters come in. There has to be, I got to figure out what to do. Not just to sit and BS like we do here, but it has to be like a history show. But yeah, I like that idea. Yeah, Flava Flav was better than Roseanne. Ty, I agree. Brandon says, we can sit around like we all are LBGs and let the real ones flame us in the chat. Brandon says, I know a lot about Gettysburg because I know how little I know, which is wisdom. Yeah, I think a wise person recognizes what they don't know, and they remember the old expression, where ignorance is bliss, 'tis folly to be wise. And, you know, that's just a good rule of thumb throughout life. Like, you know, being able to recognize that you're ignorant to something, you may have an initial thought, but like, you know, again, it's how you say it, right? It's, you know, instead of it being like, it's stupid to do it this way, you should do it that way. What you should do is say, okay, I'm confused. I would think if you do it this way, then this, that, and the other thing happens. Why do they do it this way? And then it's up to the person to say, well, your thought is good, and they tried that, but then they realized only a moron would come up with that, and that's how they developed this method, or whatever the case may be. Good. Have a great weekend, Eric. Dragoon, the commenters roundtable could be a show hosted by 6 questions. That's not a bad idea. Maybe what I could do is have 6 questions host, I don't know, we have so many ideas for shows. I wish I could replicate myself so that we could do some of the shit. It's funny, when you get really busy, you realize that 12 months in a year is not a lot of time. Like, years are not long anymore. It's crazy. It's funny how your perception changes. Estella says, I wish my migraines were easy to manage. I'm at the point where my doctor wants me to go to a neurologist. Tension headaches can still be considered migraine. Oh, okay, they can. All right, well then, yeah, I get them. They're just awful. Like, I can't think of words. I can't really, like, I've always heard, you go to a bar or whatever, you strike up conversation with a chick and you're in your 20s and, you're just talking and you mention something and she's just like, that hurts my brain. And you're like, what? And then I realize she probably had a migraine because it hurts my brain to think. And, yeah, it's like, that's why I have to just sequester myself. I can't function. I'm not my normal self. Like, I can't interact with people because I almost come off as if I'm high. Like, I'm not there. But I have to force myself to be there, but I can't make eye contact because I could barely open my eyes. I can't laugh because it hurts. I can't, get animated because it hurts. And I can't think of anything to say because what does it do? It hurts, ladies and gentlemen. So, yeah, migraines suck. But lucky for me, at this point, they can be managed with, 8,000 milligrams of Advil, 10,000 milligrams of acetaminophen, and a hot shower, a bath, and a nap. Although I didn't get to do the hot shower or bath today because I woke up and it was 9:30 and I was like, holy shit, I gotta do stuff. So I did not do that. I'm gonna do it when I get home. The years fly by, the older you get. No kidding, Ghost. No kidding. Ty Webb, you won't need any other podcast after this one, man. Cam, alone, with a mic, ASMR. You sit back and rake in the dough. That'd be funny. That would be funny. I'll just back up so this guy can get out here. Possibly. Lucretia McKeever. Marie says she's very grateful that she doesn't get migraines. Yeah. Be grateful. Be grateful. Do you grind your teeth? How many people, raise your hand if you grind your teeth? Like at night or even during the day or all day or whatever. I grind my teeth all day long. I get very stressed. I think but I'm not outwardly stressed. It's a subconscious thing, I guess. And so I'm always grinding my teeth. And when I sleep, I guess I grind them even harder. And I wear one of those night guards, which, is really sexy. And even with the night guard, though, I'm grinding so hard, I wake up with a dull headache at least 3 days a week. And I'm almost like, I want to go to the dentist. I'm like, just take my teeth out. I'm going to shatter them anyway, eventually. Just take them out. I don't care if I talk like Walter Brennan, Swamp Dragon ASMR. That's a great idea. Barbara says, try a gel mask. Heat it or cool it, depending on what works for you. I think heat expands your capillaries and veins to let the blood flow better. A gel mask. Okay, I'll try that. I tried a heating pad last night. I put it on my pillow because it was really radiating from the base of my skull in the back there. And I figured if I could just, get some heat. But maybe cold was the way to go for that. I don't know. Ooh, that's me. I'm on my second mouth guard. Snap the wire reinforced one they gave me. Oh my God. Really? I just get the over-the-counter ones because why am I going to pay $300 for something I can just get at CVS? And granted, they're a little better when you get them from the dentist, but I had one that I got from the dentist years ago, and I ground through it. Like, literally through it. Like, there were holes in it. So, I don't say... And that was dentist quality, but then now it's basically over-the-counter quality. So that's what the over-the-counter ones are. So maybe the other ones that you get at the dentist are better now. I don't know. My dentist wants me to get the Invisalign because I've worn my bite down so much that my bottom front teeth are pushing against the back of my top front teeth. And he's like, they're not meant to take that pressure. You're going to crack them, But of course, my dental insurance, which I got last January, handles orthodontics. But it doesn't kick in until this January. So, okay. Then I have to wait till January to get it. And then I'll do it. And he's like, they kind of act as a bite plate. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think you realize hard plastic is probably not going to be a good thing for me to be grinding on. But he is a dentist, so maybe he knows better than I do on that. Oh, it's busy on the square today. I see no parking spaces available in front of Gettysburg Baking Company. So we're going to drive around until we find a spot. It is busy. By gum, it is busy here. There's a spot. Oh no, the hotel has it bagged. All right, so let's see. Stella's a grinder too, and a clencher. Yeah, I grind and clench as well. Even with my night guard, I end up with holes in my guard and always have to get a new one. Yep. I wonder what that is. I mean, like, what's got us so stressed? I wonder if we were cavemen, would we have that problem? Or just some other kind of, less stupid life than we have today. No social media, no bills, no... all you got to worry about is the saber-toothed tiger going to kill me while I'm sleeping? Or, is my wife going to die in childbirth? Simple things. Nothing extravagant. And, I wonder if people ground their teeth back then. Is it ground or grinded? Grinded their teeth back then. It doesn't sound right to me. Marie grinds hers. She has a lot of tension in her neck. There you go. Andy, until I get kicked down a hill, I may have to disagree with Sickles being the savior of the Union. Sickles was a dope. Okay? He wasn't the savior of the Union. He wasted a lot of lives. Andy says, Matt, I cracked 2 back molars and had to have crowns put in and root canal in one to do take care of your teeth. Oh, I do. I had to get a root canal last January. Cost me $2,000. No, sorry, $2,100. That they insisted I pay up front. They had no payment plan. Like, it was an emergency root canal. My dentist, he had his receptionist call to the endodontist they work with and get me in the next day. And they're like, but you got to have it all up front. And I'm like, okay, how much is it? I'm hoping like $500. She's like $2,175. I was like, girl, out your mind. And she was like, no, that's what it is. And I'm like, and I can't do a payment plan with you? No. The reason why was because I just got on a payment plan for another $2,000 with my regular dentist for 2 crowns. 2 crowns and a couple of fillings, I think. So yeah, that was that month cost me $4,000. Last January cost me $4,000, and it cost me a starring role in the background of A Gettysburg Christmas. Really, really a sinful month. So yeah, parking in Gettysburg can be a pain in the ass. Yeah, not can be. It is. If I had more time and the weather was a little warmer, I would just park at the studio and walk. But yeah, Gettysburg Baking Company should reserve my own spot. Absolutely. Andy says, could be money, family, work, etc. The dentist tried to get me to therapy to figure out the stress. Yeah, it's just never going to be. It's just never going to be. There's nothing you could. We're always going to have stress because that's like a subconscious thing. You're grinding your teeth at night. You're not awake. So that's your subconscious working there, grinding your teeth and stressing you out or whatever. I had a dream about being assassinated last night. It was not pleasant. Maybe sickles is the reason you're grinding, Estella. Maybe that's it. All right. I am going to go and grab my breakfast and head into the studio and edit the new AG Today for Patreon. It should be interesting because it's these mixers are all computers now, and they all have their own different way of saving the files. So like yesterday's show, all the shows off of this mixer, all the things I record off this mixer are recorded into a WAV file, which is, whatever you name it, .wav, W-A-V, which is fine. But all of the tracks, all of the channels on the mixer are in that one file. So then when you put it in your editor, you have to separate all of them, which there's a function to do that. And you extract them all into mono channels, and then you got to put them together. And as far as I can tell now, the previous 2 boards I had, they had the individual tracks and they were individual files. And then you had the stereo mix, which is everything that I do on the board. You get in the stereo mix. There's Pete Mealy right now. You get in the stereo mix, and it's a lot easier to edit because it's just one file. So I don't know. There's supposed to be a stereo mix here, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Anyway, that's neither here nor there for you. Here nor there for you. I'm going to go eat. Ty says, Matt thinks he's important enough to be assassinated. No, I think there are crazy people out there who think I'm important enough to be assassinated. And I hear from them. We all saw one of them last night. So, yeah, it's a very real thing. The LBGs might think that if they aren't getting on his show, Ty. Yeah, right. There's a few of them. All right, you guys have yourselves a good one. See you tonight at the seminary if you're coming. If not, then I guess I won't see you tonight at the seminary. But try to come out. It's fun. 24 Hours of Hell is not really as hellish as it sounds. It's pretty fun. Have yourselves a good one. Dwight Gooden.